Welcome to all of you in the post-lunch session. With us is Professor J.D. Parrah, who is former Chief Scientist and Head, Mountain Livestock Research Institute, Manasbal. Also the Professor of Veterinary Surgery and also Head Division of Veterinary Clinical Complex, Shuhama. Our teacher. And one thing I will tell you, and what I am telling at every form regarding Parrah is that the person with their best administrative capability and acumen, a renowned veterinary clinician physician in District Gaunderbal and beyond also. So it is our pleasure to welcome you, sir, for this training program, and you accepted our invitation at a very short notice. And purposefully we kept his, though he is a professor of surgery, but why we chose this topic, winter management of dairy cattle. You might have heard different lectures of sir in different social media and then different Doordarshan Srinagar, always on the TV, okay, giving talks. It's very, very difficult, especially the live talks. I believe I'm not able, or I don't muster up the courage to go for the live TV talks. But you always see sir, they're available on Doordarshan with the live talks. And he was the person who changed the structure or the landscape of the municipal, but it is present today. So with all respect, sir, we welcome you to this training program, and we request you to go ahead with the talk. But I must apologize you, sir, that majority of the participants have left after the food, which would have been a very informative talk for all of them. But sir, I request you, perhaps it is also our mistake, because when the experts talk at length for 1 hour, 2 hours, the participants might feel that they feel that it is the experts are taking a lot of time. So with all respect, I request you that if it could be around 30 minutes of the uninterrupted talk followed by 10 minutes of the interaction, and the program is also being live on the YouTube Skuast-K YouTube channel.
I will do my very best.
Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. I think the timing of the topic is very appropriate because it is winter, and the topic is also winter management of dairy cattle. And this is a topic on which I have delivered so many live shows, as Dr. AJAZ pointed out, and I also wrote so many times in paper. You can see my cutting in the dairy, this Greater Kashmir Reader, and other papers regarding the winter management of dairy cattle. So I gladly accepted the invitation from Dr. AJAZ because this was my own topic. Okay. Now, coming to the topic, winter management. Actually, this winter in Kashmir inflicts heavy losses to the society as a whole, to the livestock, especially to dairy cattle. Whatever gains we would have achieved during summer or spring, we have to make compromise for these gains during the winter, especially for the want of abundance of feeds and fodder. So, as you know, this cow, this is a warm-blooded animal having the core temperature of 100 to 101, I think it is correct. And it has to maintain its core body temperature at any cost. If it fails, then the repercussions both for the animal as well as for the livestock owners will be obvious. So there is some thermoneutral zone. That means if the temperature falls below this core body temperature, animal will try itself to compensate for it by increasing, altering its metabolic rate, but not at the expense of the feed requirement. Feed requirement won't be required during this period. But when the temperature falls or dips further, especially below 20 degree Fahrenheit, that we call the lowest critical temperature, all the compensatory mechanisms of the animal will not be sufficient enough to generate the heat to maintain the core body temperature. Here we have to go for some interventions that would be in terms of increased feed intake, that may be in terms of housing management or heating arrangement. Only then the animal would be able to have the maintenance of core body temperature, but not without our managemental interventions. So how the animal does lose the heat? Number first, evaporation. Wherever you go, whether the animal is within the cow shed or it is outside, humidity is over there, water vapors are on its body. So animal uses its heat to get rid of these water vapors. Otherwise, they would have the devastating cooling effect on the animal. Second thing is connection. Once we sit everywhere, you will leave the place, you will see that place is very hot. That is the loss of the heat from the body. Likewise, the animal loses the heat when it comes in contact with any object, whether they may be the floor of the animal or any object that is the feeder or the water, it will lose its heat. And second is radiation. Radiation, it is usually the temperature dependent. If the temperature outside the body or the environmental temperature is lower than the core body temperature, animal will lose the heat. And very important is the convection. If you see the animal, it has some static air layer that acts as an insulating material for the animal to prevent the loss of the heat. But if the wind is blowing, it takes away this static air layer and animal gets exposed to the cold temperature and it may feel the coldness. So, as I told you that it is a warm-blooded animal, it will try itself to maintain the core body temperature. How it does it? First thing is the shivering. Just a common thing. These muscles contract, relax, then there is a friction, there is the heat production. So the first thing the animal will try to respond to the cold stress is thermogenesis. First point is shivering. Second thing is increase in metabolic rate. It will try to increase its respiration rate. It will try to increase its blood circulation. Once the blood circulation is increased, heat is dissipated throughout the body. Likewise, there is hormonal response. There would be the increase in thyroxine. There would be the increase in the adrenaline, which again in turn would increase the metabolic rate. Not only the respiration and this cardiac output, every metabolic activity which is being carried out by the animal within the body, it will be enhanced just to produce the heat, just to maintain the core body temperature. Likewise, that was the thermogenesis. Another thing is the heat conservation. That is the vasoconstriction. The arterioles suffering blood supply to the extremities, they do constrict. With the result, least blood supply goes to the extremities, and with the blood supply there is also the heat. When there is a low blood supply, there is low heat also, and there remains the apprehension of the development of various fatal injuries that may lead to necrosis or the frostbite. Then the conservation of the insulating still warm air that I have already told you. Whenever there is cold stress, what we ह्यूमन बींग्स डू, इधर तो शिवरिंग हमारी भी होती है, दूसरी बात हम ये बोलते हैं अमिस जहद गमस खड़ा, and it has a mechanism behind it. When the animal is able to maintain its core body temperature, its shear coat, its shear, it will be flat, maintaining low level of static insulating air layer. But when there is a cold stress, this erector pili muscles which are attached to the hair follicles, they do contract. Because of that contraction, these hair, they get erect. Otherwise they were the flat, now they get the erect, and they maintain a bigger layer of the subtle insulating air layer. So this is another mechanism of the insulation. Likewise, the behavior, the animals do follow as we do. If we have some coldness, we will try to sit together, we will try to shrink ourselves, we will try to just rub our hands. Likewise, the animal changes its behavior to offer the effects of the cold stress. Likewise, what does it do is curling up, huddling up, then it will try to find the shelter. Lastly is the acclimation. Acclimation means that the animal will try to have the longer and the thicker coat. Once there is a longer and the thicker coat, loss of the heat that will be minimized and the cold stress will be reduced. Are you all veterinarians? Huh?
No, sir, everybody is not.
What is the level?
They are graduates, postgraduates, some are veterinarians also. Our own faculties also.
So
Okay.
where we could not be able to understand, we will tell you.
Yes, please tell me dear. Now I am talking on this response of dairy cattle to severe cold. So what does happen whenever there is a cold? Dry matter intact, that capacity will be increased. This is again attributable to the adrenaline release. So ruminal-reticular activity that will be increased, passage of the ruminal flora, that passage of the ingesta from the digestive tract, that would be the increase, but the digestibility is decreased. That is a drawback over here. And for every 10 degree below critical level temperature, that is 20 degree Fahrenheit, the digestibility of the ration decreases by 1%. Now, this is the response of the dairy cattle. I was telling you that there would be increase in the metabolic activities in the body. This is the list of the metabolic activities which an animal, especially a dairy cow, would try to increase to have the maintenance of the core body temperature. It is not simply increase in respiration rate, heart rate, cardiac output, but it would be the all metabolic pathways, lipogenesis, glycogenesis, lipolysis, so that it maintains its core body temperature. But when the heat a stage is reached where these all compensatory mechanisms fail. That is called the summit metabolism. So there would be definitely effect of cold stress on the body. Initially, the dairy cattle would try to do everything, whatever is possible within its capability to offset the effects of the cold stress. But finally, it has to surrender when the summit is reached and the effects will be produced. So the first effect is the hypothermia. Hypothermia, it could be the mild hypothermia, moderate hypothermia. During these two stages, animal would be able to compensate, but once the hypothermia progresses because of the dipping of the temperature below lowest critical temperature, what happens? This metabolic and physiological processes, they slow down, blood diverted from peripheries to the vital organs, and in extreme respiration and heart rate would drop. But a very, very dangerous thing occurs when the animal is suffering from lowest critical temperature, severe hypothermia, but still it doesn't show any kind of symptom. It means that it is utilizing all its metabolic activities. It is utilizing all the energy which it gets from the feed to just maintain the core body temperature. Failing which, it would die. So, when the temperature dips below lowest critical temperature, that is 20 degree Fahrenheit or minus 6.6 degrees centigrade, animal requires the managemental interventions in the terms of enhanced feed availability and other things. But if we don't provide the enhanced feed increments to the animal, what would happen? It would utilize all the energy which it would get from the normal feed for maintaining the body temperature. It would exhaust all its body stores, that is the fat available within the body, just to maintain the core body temperature. But it is setting in a vicious cycle. Once it uses the body stores, fats already available within the body to maintain the core body temperature, what happens? Fat layer is gone. Insulating layer is gone. It becomes more prone to the cold stress. So it is a vicious cycle. It warrants immediate intervention. So what happens when the body weight is lost? If the animal is pregnant, it would face difficulties at the time of the parturition because of the secondary inertia. For expulsion of the calf needs the energy. When it is already deprived of fat stores, deprived of the source of the energy, it won't be able to expel the calf. With the result, there would be the secondary inertia of the uterus and there would be the difficult parturition. The calf, the pregnant animal, when it has not received the ample or the appropriate feeding material during its pregnancy, the effect would be on the calf would be very weak, cholesterol level will be down, cholesterol quantity would be down. What would happen to the calf? That it would be very weak, its growth will be very less, and its survival chances are very less. Milk production will be the less. Two facts could be there. Either there is direct effect of the cold stress on the udder. It is not only cold stress because of the temperature. It could be because of the flooring of the cow shed, which would be the too cold, because nowadays we have the concrete floors. It becomes too cold during the winter. And this, because of the coldness, this udder would not be able to synthesize the maximum quantity of this milk. Likewise, the body temperature is reduced. The body temperature of this udder is also reduced. Again, it would affect the milk synthesis. With the result, there will be the decrease, rather the substantial decrease in the milk production. Likewise, so you can simply see, I think there are some non-vitamins also. In the first peak, which is my pen है? नहीं कोई बात नहीं, मैं pen, I will use my pen. So in the first, is it visible? No, it is not visible there. Simply you can see the healthy calf, then the calf suffering from the pneumonia. You can see the healthy calf, then the calf suffering from the diarrhea. So once the calf is born weak, cholesterol is low, what would happen? It would suffer from so many diseases, especially pneumonia, especially the diarrhea. Then you have to bear the antibiotic cost, you have to bear the cost of the electrolytes, and sometimes there will be the mortality of the cough itself. So cough is gone. Likewise, once because of the cold citrus, feeding material is not provided, managemental intervention is not given, loss of body weight is over there, it would have effect on the reproductive as well as the productive life of the animal. As I told you, for the expulsion of the cough, the energy is needed. There will be the difficult calling. Likewise, expulsion of the placenta, their energy is needed. It would get retained. For maintaining the turgidity of the uterus, energy is needed. If it is not there, it would become flaccid. There will be the uterine prolapse. So once these things occur, there would be the other post-partum diseases like displacement of the abomasum. There will be the post-partum disease, metritis could be there. Likewise, when these things do happen, it would also affect the future productive life of the cow. It won't come in the heat at the earliest possible. So the days that we say, after 3 months, the cow should have come into heat, it should have got conceived. So those days were closed. But it won't come into heat after 3 months. Because of nutritional deficiency, because of the other things which have taken place inside the body of the animal. So delayed estrus, longer days of the open will be there, and it would affect the economics of the dairying very profoundly. Now coming to the managemental interventional measures. So 4 types of managemental interventions which we are supposed to take: feeding and watering management, then housing management, health care, and lastly the general care. Reproductive is another part which I am not going to deal. So time. Winter has set in. Is it proper time to start the interventional measures? No. We should have thought about taking into account this cold stress on the animals long ago. We should have started taking the steps since the summer up to late autumn. Because in the summer, you can do everything. You have plenty of the grass, isn't it? So you can score, you can reserve, you can store the stores for this harsh winter. During late or the early autumn or the late autumn, you have lots of trees available. You can store it for the bedding material. During the late autumn, you can sow the seeds for winter green grasses. Not grasses, you can say for the winter fodder. That could be the turnip, that could be the kale, that could be the carrot. And those are needed very badly. So the timing is not once the winter has set in, but it is long ago. Once this Chiraikalan sets in, basically these are the lines of the paper which I have written in this Greater Kashmir, that both the animal and the livestock owner should be tenaciously prepared to face the challenge of the Chiraikalan. How the animal can be prepared? Its body score should be good. It means if its body score is high, 6 to 7, its fat layer is very sufficient enough over there for insulation purposes. If the fat layer is not over there, it will succumb to the severe cold of this Chiraikalan. Whatever interventional measures you will take, if the animal itself is not prepared. We have to keep the animal vaccinated against various diseases. We have to keep it developed. We have to keep it deloused. Only then its body condition score will be sufficient enough to have the sufficient fat layer for the insulation purposes. So these are here, the medicine people are sitting over here. There are some diseases which a dairy person should get his animals vaccinated against. And now newer diseases are also coming in, this LSD. We are not yet sure about its vaccination, about its management, but some people took high advantage of this disease. They earned a lot because people were scared of this disease because it is a new disease. Likewise, another managemental intervention would be the increased feed requirement. As I told you that once the cold stress is evident, feed intake is increased 20 by 20%. That too is attributable to this thyroid gland hormone. And second thing is that for every 1 degree temperature below the LTC, we have to provide 1% feed for every 1 degree Fahrenheit temperature below the lowest critical temperature. Next is
regarding the thyroid gland, if we are using turnips for winter, that we usually do, and due to the presence of nitrogens, what is the impact on?
Let me first complete. I will come to turnip also. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Let me first complete. So for higher, whenever the cold stress is over there, 4 things are needed. Higher thermogenesis, protein requirement is increased, energy increment is increased, and this some mineral mixture, vitamins and the minerals, that amount is also needed to have the offset of the cold stress effects on the dairy cattle. Now coming to the thermogenesis. These dairy cattle, they are usually the ruminants, so there is microbial fermentation over there. Because of this fermentation, there is increase in the temperature. So this temperature is usually produced when we give hay to the animals, not concentrates. Second thing, and when it should be given, the coldness is usually during the night. So it is recommended that 60% of the hay should be fed to the animals during the night, so that they remain engaged with this digestion process. Because of the fermentation, heat will be produced over there. Because of the muscular activity required for the apprehension, then regurgitation, then digestion, heat will be produced over. This is the best this interventional measure for producing the higher heat in the animal. But before that, you have to keep in mind that 1% increase in the feed, whether that is the concentrate or any other material or the hay, that is to be made over there. Only then these measures are to be taken.
1% feed as the dry matter.
Everything.
No, as we have to increase 1% in the dry matter.
Second thing is that as a veterinarian, I should tell you again at the MLRI, it is not the simple hay. It should be the quality hay. Quality hay means it should be the leguminous forages. If it is not available only leguminous forages, then it should be the mix of leguminous as well as non-leguminous forages. Because the leguminous forages, they are rich in calcium, vitamin A, D, K, and even in the protein. And third thing, what the common mistake that people do usually commit while offering the hay to the animal, they never bother whether it is dust free or not. When they set this dust loaded hay before the animals, they do usually develop some respiratory problem. Better to just shut off this dust, or you can just spray warm or lukewarm water on the hay before offering to the animal. This is the simplest interventions which we can take and which we can avail of for the maintenance, for maintaining its productivity. Likewise, for every degree, now coming to this energy, protein, green forage and mineral mixture. I told you once there is a cold stress, 4 things are required. Energy is required. Okay, this heat production is needed. Then protein requirement is needed. Then the mineral mixture is needed. So for every 1 degree below LTC, energy requirement increases by 1%. Now, whatever feed is available in the field, it is never prepared for particular area or for particular season. It is prepared for the general purpose, isn't it? For overall area. So at the household level, what we can do, we can add molasses or we can add the cakes. Cakes are usually available at the farmer's house. When they extract the oil from this सरसों से जब तेल निकालते हैं जो वहां बाकी बच जाता है उसको बोलते हैं केक. That is a rich source of the protein. Likewise, the molasses. If the molasses is not available, you can have simply what is available at jaggery or yet is gourd, जो available at every shop available होता है, you can add to that. At the farmer level, we do change the feeding composition according to the requirement, but that is not available everywhere. Now, we have been usually using in the field or at the household. What mistake our farmers are committing? See, they simply bring this wheat bran or the rice bran. They think it is a complete feed for the animal. I have been advising them so many times, you can see my talks even on the YouTube, that there is hardly any difference between a composite cattle feed cost and this rice bran or the wheat bran. But there is a little bit higher cost for this feed which is available in the market, but they usually prefer the rice bran or the wheat bran. And you as a veterinarian have to make them understand that the feed which is commercially available, it is not made up of this rice bran or the wheat bran. It is only one constituent of the feeding material present over there. This is very unfortunate. So at household level, at formal level, we can't rely solely on feed and hay, because we have to take the integrated strategic measures. And these integrated strategic measures, these include total mixed feed, silage, urea, mineral, molasses blocks, fortified fodder, which are easy things to get accomplished for getting maximum profit from our dairy cattle. But unfortunately, our farmers, they are not interested in taking up these technologies, despite of so many persuasion through electronic and the print media. So what is total mixed ration? And it becomes, once we go for the total mixed ration, it doesn't only contain this concentrate, it doesn't only contain hay, it contains so many things, protein feeds, byproducts, and whatever these feed supplements, mineral mixture, and it is very easy to carry, it is very easy to store, and it is very easy to feed. But once preparing this total mixed ration, one thing you have to be very sure that there should be the proper mixing. If there is improper mixing, it can be fatal especially in the fortification of the fodder, because we have confronted such situations at MLRI, which I will tell you later on what happened. Likewise, the urea mineral molasses block. We need the protein, we need the energy, and this is very simple way of compensating the increased feed increment. It is just like a brick. As if we are preparing a brick, we have to take the molasses, we have to take the urea, we have to take the ricitra, then we can just add the cement, and just this mixture we can put in. उसमें क्या बोलेंगे, उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Mold. उसमें डाल के इसको डाल दो. It should get hardened. Once it is hardened, you place it before the animal so that it continues its leaking. Once it continues its leaking, what happens? It receives all the nutrients which it requires. So this is the feeding green fodder. These are the advantages of the green fodder. It provides everything. Once the green fodder is available in the abundance, concentrate requirement for the animal is very decreased. If the concentrate requirement is decreased, it becomes economical, feeding economical for the animal. But this green fodder is available during either the spring or the summer, but it starts vanishing out as the autumn sets in. But we have to take the advantage of the abundance of the greens available during the summer. How we can take it? That we can take in the form of the silage. The silage making is also very simple process, but it only depends upon the farmer to get acquainted with its advantages, to get acquainted with its manufacturing. It is very simple to prepare. Just to take the green fodder, just chop it out. Even the Department of Animal Husbandry is now providing each and everything to the farmers on these subsidized rates. Then store it. But there should be the anaerobic conditions. All the organic acid produced in the silage, they are almost same as that are produced in the rumen. So its palatability is increased, its digestibility is increased. It means surplus green available during the summer or during the autumn, that is preserved for this lean season. Now coming to the fortified feed. As a farmer, we know that we have lots of crop issues, especially the paddy, etc. And we are wasting this paddy, etc. Once we simply open this bale of this paddy, etc., throw it before the animal. Animal hardly takes it. If it takes it, it takes its 1/10 of it. Rest goes the waste. But if we go for its fortification, fortification means simply chop it, then add the urea, and then add the molasses. The molasses is not added over here. Then again store it under anaerobic conditions. The cellulose which is present over there, that gets digested. Its protein content from 4% is increased to 8%. Its value is increased. And the animal doesn't leave anything behind. It takes everything off it. Nothing goes waste. Now coming to this composite cattle feed. If any dairy farmer, for example, some dairy entrepreneurs are over here, if you are intending or contemplating to have a dairy farmer, before starting the dairy farm, you should think of on-farm processing of the feed, because that will provide the specific feed for the class of the animals. For lactating cows, you will have the different feed. For dry animals, you would have a different feed. For pregnant animals, you would have a different feed construction, feed this ingredients. And for the cows, you would have the different. Even for the area, our nutrition department has developed area-specific mineral mixtures. Some areas are deficient in one mineral, and others are deficient in the another mineral. So it could be even the area specific. Likewise, it could be the even season specific. During summer, this concentrate feeding is decreased. It is, what should I say? It is manufacturing, it is ingredients, composition, that is also altered according to the season. We don't add so many cakes, we don't add so many sources of proteins during the summer, because the greens usually, animal takes lots of the greens, and usually it is being provided all the necessary requirements which it needs over there. So these are the different things. At MLRI, when we were preparing the feed, I still remember we used to add at least 10 to 11 constituents over there. Wheat straw, the wheat bran, rice bran, boiled rice bran, molasses, then this maize, mineral mixture, salt, rice polish. So 10 things, 10 constituents we used to prepare a composite cattle feed. And its composition varies for the class of the animal, for the season, and for the stage, even for the stage of the lactation. So we can use the non-conventional resources. Non-conventional resources, you know, apple pomace. This LP department has worked a lot. And this fruit industry is #1 industry in our state, in our Kashmir, in our province. So this whole of the fruit is not now exported. Some of bulk of it is now used to prepare this juice, and what the residue is left behind, that is the apple pomace. That is be treated with some things, and it is as such used for the feeding of the animal. It will provide the fiber, it will provide the this protein, it will provide even some minerals also over there. Now watering of the animal. One thing I would like to tell you, whatever the requirement of the animal is, during winter we give them more dry matter. These succulent feeds are not available, greens are not available. We are providing dry matter, more dry matter, so they need more water. But unfortunately, water is too cold, they take less of the water. So this interventional measure would be that the water should be made lukewarm, added with the salt, it should be given at lip. And it will help you to increase the milk production, to keep the animal healthy, to prevent some diseases, just like we can say this urolithiasis. You see, I have worked on urolithiasis during my doctoral program. During those, in rest of the India, where the temperature is hot and the humid, urolithiasis occurs during hot season. But in our valley, urolithiasis occurs during winter, and that too in cows, because we do put our cows on the concentrate without bothering there for this water requirement. What mineral, this supersaturation of the urine occurs there, and the precipitation of the minerals occurs. These calculi are formed, and the retention of urine occurs there. Simply, if you give these cows concentrate, no problem, but provide them plenty of the water, lukewarm water with the salt, and salt will get just that change pH, and it will even would cause the dissolution of the calculi over there. It would even cause this calcium mobilization for the dairy cattle. Isn't it? Am I right? So little bit interventions matter a lot. One thing I forgot, or I have missed. Likewise, the pregnant animals during the winter, they should be provided the green fodder in terms of the turnip, kale, or even the carrot. Otherwise, when there is the vitamin A deficiency, what does happen? That the cows born are usually blind. The dairy, these pregnant cows during the winter season, they should be provided with appropriate quantity of the mineral mixture. Otherwise, what would happen? The cows are born with musculoskeletal affection. So to avoid all these things, to have a fruitful crop of these cows at the end of the winter season, we have to take these pretty intervention measures. Now the proper sheltering. See, sheltering management has changed now drastically over here. But the earlier system which we were having over here, I think that is the best. Mud houses with grass thatches, and even without this pucca flooring. With the pucca flooring, what happens? It becomes very cool during this winter. So heat loss by the way of conduction is too much. It would affect the animal. Second thing, because of the irritation, there would be so many injuries to the animal. There will be the trapping of these udder or the teats. Okay, so I think even if we have these concrete things, we can modify them during the winter. What do we have to do? If we have the pucca flooring, just bed it with this rice strata or the wheat strata. Then place some plastic sheet over there and replace at least this plastic sheet 2 times or 3 times a day, so that the bedding material that doesn't get wet. Third thing, if the roof is also concrete, just to put the stored hay, stored forage over it, it will act as an insulating. What the farmers do, not because of this ignorance and enthusiastically, whenever this winter sets in, they close all the doors and the windows of the cow shed, put on this polythene cover on these doors, and what happens? There doesn't remain any ventilation over there. Ammonia gas is produced over there. So many respiratory problems are being inflicted over there. What is to do? You have to cover the windows and the doors, no doubt, but cover it with the guinea pigs, so that ventilation can pass, but wind cannot cross this cow shed. Likewise, the drainage system should be proper, so that urine is passed out. And animals have not to be kept confined for the 24 hours in this cow shed. If there is afternoon, even dry afternoon, no sun, even then bring out the animals outside, feed them over there, water them over there, just to go for their grooming. It will help them. This cow shed will be maintained like that. And what people do more enthusiastically, they keep their heaters and the bukharis throughout the night over there. And I have witnessed myself so many of burning cases of the animals, especially their udder that does get burned because of the heaters and these bukharis. So these enthusiastically ignorant practices, they are to be avoided. So starting, what people do think that if we keep so many of animals together in a small cow shed, they will remain warm, but they don't know what harmful effects it would have. Respiratory problems, they are there, fighting is there, injuries are there, trampling of the udder is there, these teat affections are over there. So we should avoid, we should have the proper stocking of the animal. We can't compromise with the body condition of the animal. We have to keep it dry, groomed, so that it remains healthy during the winter. And the conclusion, I think I have been in time. I have not taken so much time. So conclusion, we can't change the weather, but we can do everything to offset the effects of it being over there. Second thing, we have to take the strategic measures for feeding, watering, housing, and for that we need to sensitize our farmers. Depending on the old traditional and the soul methods, that won't suffice. Thank you. Any query now?
Sir, जो turnip strike
I am not in nutrition. First of all, I will tell you one thing.
sir, तो the turnips actually inhibit the thyroxine gland. Goitrogens होते हैं तो उससे वो कम हो जाता है. गाय में thyroid की problem होने
I have not come across with such a finding that this you take of the carrot, huh? Talk of the carrot,
नहीं
turnip, that it has a goitrogenic effect. I don't know.
Because मैं अभी नया start किया है dairy farm, so मैं काफी लोगों से पूछता था कि how they are feeding and whatever. So 10 out of 8 people were like when we were.
There should be the substantial evidence. There should be just something available in the literature. People will talk of their own. That is not acceptable. That is not substantial.
You can find in the literature if you
see, if you take anything in excess, it has its bad effects.
Exactly.
But if you take everything within the limits, it won't affect you. You take the salt in a higher quantity, you will suffer from the blood pressure. You know it. But if you take it within the limits, it won't affect. Everything has its adverse effects. Good effects as well as adverse. That's not a problem. आप लोगों को नींद आ रही थी तो मैंने भी सोचा था जल्दी जल्दी में सो रही थी खाना खाया. Anything else? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the nice presentation.
Thank you. अगर संगम करूँ दा. It is over now, huh?
Yes, sir.